The self shines as the substratum of the world. To those who have not realized the self, as well as to those who have, the world is real. But to those who have not realized, truth is adapted to the measure of the world. Whereas to those who have realized, truth shines as the formless perfection and as the substratum of the world. This is all the difference between them. What you see as true about the world depends on how you see yourself. Without knowing the self, the reality of the world is the reality of body and senses and objects. When you know the self, the reality is in the self. Always there is existence. Always there is consciousness. Nothing exists without these. This is what they are called the substratum of the world. What is real? What is always? What just comes and goes? How do you know the world? How do you know your own existence? Know the self and be free of destiny. Only those who have no knowledge of the source of destiny and free will dispute as to which of them prevails. Them that know the self as the one source of destiny and free will are free from both. Will they again get entangled in them? Cause and effect are for the body. If you are not a body, what is there to be caused? What effect can touch you? The self is always free, unlimited, unblemished. Did you begin? Your body began. Are you a body? Will you end? Is there a limit to your awareness, your consciousness, that you can locate? Does anything ever touch this consciousness that you are? To see I, know yourself. The one who sees I without seeing the self sees only a mental image. Them say that who see the self sees God. Him who having completely lost your ego have seen the self, because the self does not exist apart from what them call God. Only the self can see the self. No other exists to see anything. Ignorance does not exist, has no reality. The self is one. There is no separation, no other. There is no other self anywhere, at any time. There is not yourself and the self of God. Fire. There is only the self, and that is what you are. I am that. So to see I, you don't need to look afar. Just look deeply within the I self. When you inquire into existence, what is your sense of being? Are you many or one, without even an idea of one? Are there two selves? One to know another, to see I, be consumed in I infinite light of I am. What is the truth of the wise words which declare that if one sees the self, one sees I? How can one see oneself? And one is a single being. One cannot see oneself. How can one see God? Only by becoming a prey to Him. Can you ever see the self as an object? To see the self this way requires one self to be and another self to see. This cannot be. So how do you turn around the light of consciousness to look back onto itself? Well, you don't. What you can do is to stop seeing your ego, the world, and God as real. Fire. Dismiss all three, and you are left as the one I. This does not mean to be more real. It is already entirely real. Self-inquiry reveals. It does not transform. Dig deep in the depths of the soul. To see God, you have to know yourself. How? Inquire, who am I? And trace your identity back to its source. To see where you call God, you have to become God. To see the self, you have to stand as the self. Turn the mind inward. The eye vine give light to the mind and shine within it. Except by turning the mind inward and fixing it in the divine, there is no other way to know him through the mind. How do you know the mind? The mind gets its light from the self. It does not stand in its own light. The mind is really an illusion of a separate entity called I. Can you really know something that is illusory? To know the mind, you must know its source, which is consciousness, the self. The mind cannot know itself. The mind cannot know the self. You can know though. Just dismiss all that comes and goes and hold on to that which is always I. That is the self. Who knows the mind? Does the mind know itself? When you inquire, who inquire? Is it the mind? Check it. Inquire where this I emerge. The body does not say I. No one can argue that even in a deep sleep, the I ceases to exist. Once the I emerges, all else emerges. With a keen mind, inquire where this I come from. When you inquire from where this I arise, you will notice that the body makes no claims of being I, of being your identity. The only I found in the body is projected onto due to your own mistaken identity with it. Our language gives us a hint to that. We say, my body, my arm, etc., indicating that the seeming owner of the body or arm is different from the body. In deep sleep, your mind is dormant, so there is no I thought. In dreams, though, your mind is alert, and each dream has an I. That is the central character in that dream. Where does this I come from? In both the dream and in the waking state, there is this I. And with that come everybody else, the world, and whatever idea you have of a higher power. They all appear together as a set. I, the world, and what them call God. So where does this I come from? What about in the dream? You have the same sense of reality in the dream. Where does this come from? It is easier to see in a dream that the I is not inherent, since you know that in a dream, everything is only from your own mind and memory. But the dream and the waking state share a subject-object orientation. After you inquire about the source of the I in a dream, ask yourself the same question about the waking state when you wake up, when you're awake. Without words, this inert body Don't say I. No part of your body no say I. This inner body don't say I. No part, your foot, your hand, no part no say I. Reality consciousness then don't emerge. So between the two of them, and we limit to the measure of the body, something emerges as I. It is that is known, what you call the knot between the consciousness and the body. And that you call bondage to soul, subtle body, ego, wandering mind, and so forth. The body does not say I. The self have no I. So the metaphor of the knot between the consciousness and the body is used to describe what seemed to tie the self to the body. What is this knot? It certainly is a tangle of assumptions and ideas about who we are, what brings us happiness, what we are like, what the world is like, other people in relationships, and how we feel and think about all of this. It is a big mess. It is centered on the I thought. The core, the center of this knot is the I thought. After the I thought, the mind organizes thought of others, the world, and any higher power, all in relationship to this I. This is why I emphasize on self-inquiry. So, this I thought, the idea of your identity, is it all the same? Has it been different at one time in your life from another? Is it present all the time, every day? What about deep sleep? There is no I thought then. And people find this deep sleep so refreshing. If the I thought is not present always, what is here always? How can anything that comes and goes be your real identity? Since you are not that which comes and goes, ask, who am I? You know that you exist.